So do you play pickle?
I do. Yeah. You know, it's
Get into some pickle talk here.
Yeah. No, that's why we're on here. Nobody cares about my.
Yes, they do.
They want to know the gossip. They want to know the good stuff. When these guys are going to start moving over, there's a lot of talk.
Sammy.
There's a lot of confidence coming from the tennis world onto the pickle.
What's going on? My name is Tyson Mcguffin. Welcome to the McGuffin Show. We're on episode 51 here. I got a special guest today. This gentleman played for USC, two-time NCAA champ, career high ranking of 21, bronze medalist 2016 Olympics, and has made some serious dough playing tennis. Truly appreciate this guy coming on. Steve Johnson, what is going on, brother?
Yeah, man, fired up to be on the pod. You know, we've been following your career closely, so it's fun to get on the pod here.
Following my career, Sammy was telling me you guys watched some highlights in the locker room. Call me Novak. Is that what I hear?
It's not a lie.
Ugh.
Sam is not afraid to push the envelope sometimes, but we see the movement out there. Like, we literally were like, this guy's like the Novak of the pickle world. Like, the guy, like, we just don't know how anybody moves like that because we can't anymore.
Get out of here. Steve actually is the same age as me. Steve's 32, I'm 32. And actually, Steve has a birthday in December, as with me. Steve, you're the 24th, correct? 23rd.
I am.
24th. Okay, very good. I'm the 16th, brother. So looks like
we're getting old together.
We are, man. We're getting old together. And you have a couple beautiful, you have one kiddo?
Yeah. We got one daughter. She'll turn 2 in December. So that's keeping my life pretty occupied when I'm not on the road. So life's a bit different now, but life is good. You know, we get to play a sport for a living and try and do our best to make the most of it.
Of course, love it, man. Yeah, I have a little 2-year-old princess as well, and she used to be my angel, and she still is, but I kid you not, man. She's 2 in, I don't know, a month or 2, and I kid you not, she has turned into somebody that I don't even know anymore. Like, I love my little princess, but she's like the devil right now. Everything's no in mine.
Terrible twos, baby.
Oh my gosh, she doesn't want to shower, doesn't want to eat. I swear, all she lives off of is movies and bottles. And we've been trying to take the bottle away, but she it's the weirdest thing. But she's being tough. I'll tell you what.
I don't have it too bad. My daughter's pretty dependent on my wife, which I feel bad for because, you know, when mama's around, she wants her mama. So it's like I try and help as much as I can, but some things that don't calm too much when she's around. So it's tougher for her.
Yeah, for sure. I was hoping you'd be rocking the mustache today, my man.
Yeah, you know,
How dare you?
Photos.
Super rude.
I had some family photos like a week ago, so you know. Keep everyone happy. I just went with the beard look, but the mustache will be back in, you know, give it like a week or 2 and, you know, it'll come back. It's a signature look, you know, so I got to keep it rolling. What's
the story behind the stash? I
don't know. I just like bored. I did it in college.
Okay.
I think I was like pretty excited I could grow facial hair.
Yeah.
Back then. And then I kind of got to the tour and I did it as a joke sometimes. And like, I had some like good wins and then it became this like signature thing. And everybody would like, you'd go to like, you know, you'd be at the Open or all these big tournaments. They'd be like, oh, what is like the mustache? Does that bring like maturity or to this? I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Like, it's like facial hair, you know, like I could shave it off tomorrow. Like, it's not going to change anything, you know, like people got like so infatuated with it. And I was just like, whatever, like, I'm just going to keep it as a joke. And I've kind of just had it for now far too long.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, I've been rocking mine for I don't know 6 months or so, and got the
it's the good look, you know.
Yeah.
It keeps, you know, it's.
It got me the Barstool article. I don't know if you knew this, but I got labeled the most electrifying guy in sports, which is probably a little much, but
that's a fact. We saw those.
It's a fact, but it was mainly due to, you know, tattoos, mullet, mustache, and really not giving a you know what I mean.
That's the way to do it, though. I mean, that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, for sure. So tell us. So you have one. So you have one girl, and then you have one on the way. Correct?
Yeah, one on the way coming in April next year. So just you know, trying to make the most of one, and then we'll see what kind of chaos 2 brings. But yeah, my wife and I are super excited, and we're just we can't wait to have a few more.
Of course, love it. And so you're in Vegas right now playing a ATP tourney, correct?
Yeah, challenger level, so just below the ATP level.
Yep.
And, I was in Asia for about 3.5 weeks, and at the end of a year, after 10 months traveling, that'll kind of take your soul away from you.
Of course.
Sometimes when you're gone from home, when you're gone for that long of a stretch, after you've been traveling for 10 months. So it was good to get back home, and I kind of decided to play this Vegas tournament last minute, and hopefully just kind of end the year on a good note and finish strong.
Love it, brother. Well, I'm rooting for you. And you got a win yesterday. So did the tournament start Monday?
Yeah, tournament. Yeah, for us it's always Monday, and then basically goes Monday to Sunday.
Okay.
So it's 5 rounds. So if you play Monday, you kind of get a day off Tuesday. You play Wednesday, you get a day off Thursday. Assuming you keep winning, and so it just kind of works out with that schedule. And just you just want to be that last guy standing. That's always the goal when you show up at a new event. Be the last one standing.
Be standing on Sunday. It's just like pickle, man. Pickle is championship Sunday. So my goal is to be active and whooping ass and beating boys up. Or if it's mixed doubles, maybe, beating, isolating the girl a little bit and getting some gold on Sunday,
Yeah, that ball doesn't care, just go out there and get a win. The ball doesn't care who's on the other side of the net.
Right, it does not care. It's true. That's very true. Okay, hey, so tell my viewers here kind of what your story is, how you got started, where you're from, why you pursued tennis, and man, just give us a scoop, brother.
Yeah, so I started when I was really young. My parents were into tennis. My dad was a tennis coach his whole life. That's how they met, playing tennis back in high school. And so it kind of goes way back. I've played tennis since I was a super young age. Played my first tournament when I was 5 and have loved the sport ever since. I played just about every other sport growing up, baseball, basketball, golf, you name it, competitively. And then about 16, I really focused on tennis because I really liked that one the best. I really enjoyed the sport, the aspect of competing, all that stuff. And that took me to USC because I grew up in Southern California in Orange County, so I didn't want to go far from home. And so I went to USC, had a great 4 years. Couldn't have been better. And then I'm super fortunate because this is year 11. As an actual pro. I played a few years before that while I was in college, here we are. I'm turning 33 this year, so I'm one of the older guys now on tour, which seems crazy to me. But right. When you're playing guys born in 2004, it's it's like it's mind blowing, and it's right. You're just like, wait a sec, like not too long ago I was the young guy that was kind of pushing the old guys out. Now I'm just scraping and clawing to kind of put these young boys in their place. But it's so it's a different feeling now. But it's the game's evolved, and the passion's still there for it, but it's just with a family, it's a bit harder to get away from home sometimes.
No, of course. So, I guess what is the end goal with tennis? Do you see yourself playing until you're 35? Just kind of taking it month by month, or I guess what's the end goal, brother?
Yeah, I just want to keep trying to get better. I feel like I have, I still feel like there's a lot of good tennis left in me. I definitely am getting older, and I was always been somebody who didn't want to be gone from home when the kids were young and little, and I just didn't want to be that kind of gone when that was happening. But I see myself hopefully playing a few more years, and just trying to make the most of this world. It's was crazy the last couple of years with COVID and everything, and now we're kind of back to normal, which has been great. And so I just want to keep playing another couple of years, and hopefully the body and the mind and everything, stays in one piece, because the older you get, the more injuries and the more you feel the day-to-day grind that the last, 10, 15, 20 years of, basically playing tennis on a hard court, running, for hours and hours a day, it takes its toll on the body.
Right, for sure. No, I definitely hear you. I have a 8-year-old that lives about 4 hours away from me, and I get to see him like every other weekend, and I get him like all summer long. But I've been away from my ex for the last 4 or 5 years and really didn't get to see him grow up. So something that is dear to me, and something that definitely means a lot to me, is being able to watch my babies kind of grow up. And looking at like the end of my pickle career, how long can I take this? But something I definitely don't want to miss out on is ages like 4 to 8, them playing sports, really getting involved, growing as a young, kid, and it's right. Fun, man. So, the memories.
Yeah, as much as like the youth sports probably don't do too much, it's fun you don't want to miss the soccer games and the baseball games.
Of course.
That's kind of where I'm at. So we're not quite there yet, Yeah. So it's so I still got some time to hopefully punch a few more wins and keep these young boys in their place.
Do it, brother. Come on, do it, baby. So tell me, what's your biggest inspiration? What kind of keeps you going? Is it family? Is it the people around you? Is it coach?
Yeah, for me, it changes so often. Like I feel like throughout your career, there's so many variables that change your mentality. Like early in my career, all I wanted to do 10, 12 years ago was to make it. Whatever that definition was, you just want to make it. You want to feel like you belong. You feel like, everything you've worked for is, for something, something special, that not everybody has that ability to do. And then you get into the middle of your career and you're like, okay, like how do I get from 80 in the world to 50 to 20 to top 20 to, winning, events and whatnot. And then, now I'm later in my career, I'm really making the most of it. I enjoy the little things, like this is a game, especially like pickleball as well. Like you can, any sports, any athlete can really put a positive spin on the sport that they play, and they have such impact on the younger generation and the kids who come out and watch you.
Love that.
People, will pay and, to come watch me play tennis, even though, I don't necessarily want to be playing like in Vegas right now but I know that I'm here for a reason. I want to come out here. I need to get some wins. I want to finish the year on a high note and then kind of get ready for 2023. And, that's kind of what I talk about with my coaches and the people I'm close with. It's like, I just want to basically let the people know that like, I'm going to go out there and put my best foot forward every day. And that's the most important thing.
So, something I deal with is, the last couple of years, my wife came with me a decent amount. She owns a business here in Coeur d'Alene, so she had the right help kind of working for her, so she was able to travel. She's not traveling much anymore just because she's kind of getting geared up to sell her business, and taking care of all the kids is kind of difficult. So something I deal with, brother, is going on the road, trying to be bold, trying to be like this confident dude, teaching camps, doing media stuff, being an athlete, and then coming home to being a dad, being a good listener. And I mean, I kid you not, bro. It's for me, I have a hard time kind of making that transition. Obviously I have 4 kids, you have 1, but yeah, I mean, how do you do it?
Yeah, no, that's the hard part, because as an athlete, whatever sport, whatever you do, you're so focused on yourself. Like everything's for you. I need to do this right now.
Selfish, yeah, of course.
It's like, you got to be selfish. And that changes. Like when I have my family and stuff on the road, it's like, all right, like I like to practice in the morning because whatever. Now it's like when my wife and daughter come, like, okay, well, she naps from 12 to 3. So like, I want to hang with her in the morning, and then I'm going to do some stuff in the afternoon. And then, this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, it's hard because as an athlete, you have to be selfish because this is your career. Like this is your 9 to 5, whatever you want to call it. And there's a lot that goes into it. And it's, it's mental, it's physical, it's emotional. It's right. If you don't go out there 100%, like it's hard enough as it is.
Of course.
If you're going out there with,
so true. It's so true. Yeah.
If you're going out there because your 2 kids had a horrible night of sleep and you've been up since 2 a.m, like, and you got to go out and battle, Ben Johns on a Sunday final, like that's tough.
Yeah,
like it's, sure. That just, it's just hard. So it's just something that you got to get used to. And that's like the hardest part is I didn't do it well when my daughter came and was on the road at first, because I wanted to like do so much. I wanted to be super hands-on and do this and do that. And like my wife was like, look, like I can see like you're exhausted on the court playing,
right?
Like, so you need to like take a step back, and I get this. And, so it's just a give and take. It's a learning process, but definitely, when I'm here, like I'm in Vegas by myself, like it's a lot easier. It's like, all right, I can practice when I want. I can do my rehab now. I can go to dinner, like what, all the little things that kind of go into it. And it's like, I can show up tomorrow, get ready. Like I know exactly what I need to do, and let's go out and take care of some business.
Yeah. No. Love that. Yeah. I'm a much better loser when my kids are with me on the road. I kid you not. I'm kind of
for sure.
I'm kind of a piece of work if I'm by myself. I usually crawl into a deep hole, get to my hotel, DoorDash, Netflix. I don't do a thing. I don't call anybody. I don't talk to anybody. I just shut down. And
it is different though. You have kids, like it's practical. Like they don't, like my daughter doesn't care whether I win or lose. Like,
right.
She doesn't even know what I do, like,
right.
Obviously when they get older, it's a little different, but it's like, she doesn't care. Like she just wants, like I lost at Wimbledon this year. I got my ass handed to me on center court at Wimbledon, like just pumped, that's always fun. So, like, to be on center court at Wimbledon and just get your ass kicked,
Right.
And it's like, all right, like I walked out and like my wife handed me my daughter. I'm like, all right, let's go to the park. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
for
sure. Let's move on. Like, who cares? Like,
exactly.
What are we going to, what kind of food is she going to throw at us at dinner tonight? And let's go have some fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And it seems like too, some of the best athletes in the world have a very quick reset method, and
yeah, I mean, that's true in all sports. You better have a short-term memory in any sport. It's like, you're never going to, you can't always play good. It's one of those things where you just got to flush it and move on.
Okay. So diet, nutrition, recovery training. What is Steve's special secret? What do you got?
Look, I mean, it's evolved quite
a
lot since the beginning of my career. I'm very lucky. I'm not somebody who has, food allergies or, any of that, like dietary restrictions where like I have to be super careful about, going to foreign countries and eating certain foods and stuff, which is great because I'm not a picky eater. But then again, you got to be smart. You can't just go to Paris and hammer 15 croissants in the morning and expect to go play.
15 croissant morning? Why not?
I wish, my body type is not built for that. I'm like a Mack truck, like a minivan, basically. I got to put in some unleaded in there and keep it running as long as possible. But,
for sure. What do you do for breakfast? What's?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm easy. Like, eggs, toast, fruit, yogurt, some, that kind of stuff. But I've had an incredible team around me for basically my whole career. I've had 2 or 3 coaches. My coach from USC is back
Peter Smith
with me, Peter Smith.
Yep. He
was with me at USC, and now he's kind of back as like, he's always been like a second father to me. So he's like a mentor role.
Love
and
that.
This gentleman, Mark Lucero, has been with me for the last 3 years. And he has traveled with me pretty much exclusively since 2020. And then my old coach, Craig Boynton, who I was with for 6 or 7 years. We had some unbelievable times together. And, Sam and I shared a physio for a while, Sam Query. So he's been somebody that's very involved in my physical health,
Yeah. Is that a common thing, Steve? Not to cut you off, brother. Sharing physios?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, it depends. Like, again, tennis guys are very, I don't want to say territorial, but they're pretty selfish, and a lot of them can be dicks, like Sam and I grew up basically together. Obviously he was incredible at a younger age. Like, we all looked up to Sam, and then, we ended up being on the same kind of path. We, the good thing is we love to play the same tournaments. We were pretty much ranked like between 20 and 30 together for 7 straight years. So like, we played the same events. We did this. We pretty much traveled as a team. There's me, Sam, Craig Boynton, and Christian Lacasio. And, these guys, Sam and I are super easy and we're relaxed. We're just California guys who, like, hey, like, I can't do this today, or can I go early because my wife and I want to go to dinner, kind of things. And like, we're super accommodating to each other, where some guys maybe on tour aren't, they're like very like, and we're both pretty independent. So we don't want, people carrying our bags. Like, we don't want that. I think, we're adults, we're pros, like, and everybody was great people. So like, our wives are close, our kids are close, all that kind of stuff.
Cool.
So it makes it a lot easier because it is such an individual sport.
Right.
It's tough week in and week out.
Tell me, as far as like recovery, you do cryotherapy, you use Beamer, like you do compression boots, all that
for me,
stuff?
I've got like all that stuff, and for me, like, I love a good ice bath. I'm at like just like a caveman, I guess. Like, I prefer the ice bath. I just like to jump in and
good man,
do my 10-12 minutes and get out and do.
Question is, stuff. Do you wear socks over your hands? And I would assume you wear underwear during those ice baths, correct? Because that's the only way I can handle it.
Yes, yeah. Underwear is a key.
Yeah, underwear is key
element, and I wear booties over my toes because, like, I have like no feeling. I have like, my toes are all kinds of messed up from basically just being pounded on in my shoe for the last 32 years on a tennis court.
Right.
So for me, I have to put those on over my feet, or else like I'll literally, like, my feet, I won't be able to feel them for like days.
Okay.
And then other than that, it's just like, get in there and just mentally be strong,
swallow it down.
Get out. Just, some guys that you might have had on your podcast, not that tough when it comes to that. I won't name names. He's probably one of the other tennis guys, tall, goofy.
What a weenie, huh? What
yeah, he's soft when it comes to
He's soft. And he's got soft ankles too, right?
Dude, I'm going to assume, I know you guys played up there. I'm going to assume he probably walked out there with the ankle braces on.
I broke his ankles left and right.
Dude, his ankles are weak. He can't do anything without ankle bracelets. Just give him, when you see him on tour next year, just tell him, just make sure, just start throwing like little like twigs in front of him. He'll probably roll his ankle.
Yeah. Ankles are weak. That's too funny. Okay, so tell me, were you going to go pro out of juniors, or I guess was there a decision to go? Go ahead, sorry.
For me, no, never. You know, I was 18. I mean, I was good. I mean, relatively, I was a good tennis player, but there's good, and then there's Alcaraz good. Right. You know, obviously that's a different threshold. He's winning slams at 19. But I wasn't mature enough. I didn't know what it takes. Like, I mean, I lived a pretty sheltered life. I mean, not in like a bad way, but, you know, I grew up, my dad was a tennis coach. My mom was a math professor. And so like, for me, like, you know, I didn't do anything on my own. Like I didn't know anything, you know, like I was just a kid who was at home and mom cooked meals and, you know, you went to tennis practice and you went to high school and all this stuff. So for me going to college I grew up, I matured. I got a chance to really learn what work ethic was and what it takes to be a good tennis player, as well as like off the court stuff. Cause I had no idea at 17, 18, I was just talented, you know, like I just would show up and be better than some guys and whatnot. So for me, college was always the route. And I always wanted to stay in Southern California, and Peter Smith, like I mentioned, was the coach, and I always wanted to play for him. So obviously it's a bit easier to sit here today and talk about it, because what we did together was so special, like for the 4 team championships, my 2 individual championships, all that kind of stuff that goes with it. But, you know, I never thought about even going pro after my junior year, after I won NCAAs and was one in the country and all this stuff. I wanted to come back and finish what I had started at USC. And that was very important to me. And obviously it worked out, you know, as a bit of a fairy tale ending that I don't talk about ever, because it's, you know, it's just one of those things that you just kind of laugh at now. But it's, I mean, college tennis and my coaches there and everybody there prepared me to be a pro. And then, you know, my early coaches, Craig Boynton and Dustin Taylor, and these guys prepared me for life as a pro, you know, being on the road every week by yourself, being okay with losing every week. Like, you don't lose, you know, I didn't lose in college.
I mean, that transition has got to be mind blowing. It's got to be mind blowing. You're right.
It was brutal. I mean, I remember I turned pro. So this was May of 2012, and I didn't play till after Wimbledon. I had some issues with my shin. I had a stress fracture in my shin, and then I'm like, I come out and I lose in qualifying at this first ATP event to a guy who played like, he was probably 26, 27 at the time, but he played like 5 or 6 at Duke, like long before me. So I lose to him. I'm like, wait a sec, like I haven't lost to
this makes no sense
forever. Like now I'm losing in qualifying, and then I lose the next week. I lose the next week. You know, like you lose every week, and you're like maybe I'm not very good. You know, like it takes a toll mentally, and
I can only imagine
that was a skill I had to learn. I had to be practical about losses. You know, like not every loss is the same, not every win is the same. You know, you just gotta put your head down, put your best effort forward, and sometimes, you know, you gotta just flush bad things from your memory and move on.
How many total losses did you have at USC?
I had a lot.
4 years.
You know, my first year I think I had like 13.
Okay.
My second year maybe I had like 7 or 8. And
but the last two, junior, senior, you won the NCAAs.
Yep. In the fall we have like a individual season.
Right.
So I lost 3 times. I lost, you know, whatever. I lost a couple individual tournaments, and then I went undefeated in our team season.
Okay.
And then won NCAAs. And the following year I didn't play in the fall because I played a pro schedule. Came back to school for our season in January, and then went undefeated in that season as well and won NCAA. So I finished a couple of good years.
Gotcha. Tell me what the party was like, you know, junior, senior year. You guys won team title, and then you won a singles title. I mean, did you guys get after it? I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Yes and no.
I mean, keep it PG rated, but you know, did you guys have some fun?
The crazy part about NCAAs back when they've changed it a bit now, but so I'll give you a couple stories. So my sophomore year, I was 2 in the country. We won NCAAs, and I was I was young. I didn't care. I wasn't turning pro. So like NCAAs didn't mean, like individuals didn't mean anything. We wanted to win team. Obviously I was all in.
Right.
And like we went, you know, I went bananas. You know, you go out and you're like, and we were in Athens, like you go crazy, having a great time, you know, whatever. And like literally, so like you get back to the hotel like 3, 4 in the morning, and like singles of NCAA starts that day at 10 a.m. So like I played at like 4 in the afternoon and I lost. Like I was like, I don't want to be here.
Right.
Like literally like 12 hours later, I'm starting a whole new individual. So like
Steve,
the next 2 years, obviously I was like, I had a goal in mind. Like I wanted to win. So like after we won, my junior year in 2011 was at Stanford. And so like we went out, we had a big team dinner, and like I had a couple drinks, and then it's like, all right guys, like have fun. Like nobody get arrested, please. Yeah. Like I got individuals tomorrow. So like whoever's sleeping, like whoever's in my room, like just don't even come back tonight. Like just find your own room.
Stay
like,
out. Right. Exactly.
Like, I'm locking.
I don't want any part of it.
I have to play tomorrow.
Right.
You know, so. Yeah. And I did the same thing in 2012 because like my goal obviously was to win. So like I shut it down, and then a couple big celebrations after singles. That's for sure. You know, I come back to LA and I blew it out for a week or so, and
blow it out. Love it.
Yeah. You know, and then I probably haven't blown it out since then because now I just feel like shit. I mean,
got any right? No, of course. I mean, anytime I blow it out these days, I'm hungover for like a week.
Yeah, it's not the same anymore. It's
not the same. Hey, is this true? Final. So your senior year playing the NCAA finals, shin splints, food poisoning, strained abs, and you still gutted it out and got a dub.
Yeah, it was quite the process. Look, I mean, what we were trying to accomplish as a team was something that had only been done once before in the team format of winning a team title 4 straight years, like, you know, all 4 years, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. And that was done by Paul Goldstein at Stanford. I believe it was 98 to 2002, if I'm not mistaken. That was like with Goldstein, Mike and Bob Bryant. I mean, they had the greatest team in the history of college tennis. And so that was something that like we wanted to accomplish. So like we get to NCAAs and I'm riding the freshman hard. Like I'm stressed, you know, like we've gone this whole season. I haven't lost again. I'm at 60 matches or whatever in a row. And it's like, I got there and like my body just kind of shut down. Like I remember I had food poisoning. We went to the hospital. I got a couple bags of IV put in me before the quarters or semis of the team event. And then, yeah, I had some shin fracture, or stress fracture in my shin. So I kind of played through that. Yeah. And it felt fine. You know, at the time I knew there was like a hard, you know, I had like 8 more days. Like I have 8 more days and then I'll take 8 weeks off, you know, exactly, and then I'll start my pro career or whatever. So I knew there was light at the end of the tunnel, and I limped there. But luckily, you know, I mean, I'll say I'm a pretty good competitor when it comes down to it.
I would say so.
It's definitely one of my, I mean, that's just definitely one of my strong suits. So
right.
And it helped like back then. I think I had won quite a few matches like before walking on the court. You know, like when you win that many in a row and you had this like aura of invincibility, it helped. You know, that definitely helped. And I had some battles along the way, got through some nail biters, but just found a way to win. And that was, then I shut it down for a while after that. Didn't do too much.
For all you viewers and listeners out there, hear that. Find a way to win. Never say never. Doesn't matter where you're at, injured, banged up. Find a freaking way. So my dad was a wrestling coach. I grew up in a wrestling family, and that was something he used to always tell me was find a way, man. Find a way. Find a way.
Like you learn these things from the former greats. You know, it's like from the former guys. Like look, like you know, Roger and Rafa and these guys. They probably feel good 15, 20 times a year, you know, like, and they're going to beat anybody on those given days. It's the days where you don't play well at all that these guys, what makes good players the greats is that they win on the days that they're sick, that they have a bad knee, that they just can't find, you know, the ocean if they fell out of a boat kind of thing with any of their shots. But they have enough heart, they have enough grit, they have enough determination. And that's what makes any athlete great in any sport. No, for sure. When you can win on the days that you don't play well.
For sure. And if there's one thing you have full control of, it's fighting, it's effort, you know, it's added intensity and all that. I mean, I can't tell you how many finals I've seen Rafa in or matches that Rafa's in and he's banged up. And the physio's out there working on him. The guy he just keeps chipping away and finding a way. And yeah, it's good, man. But it's so true. What makes the best athletes great is their willingness and, yeah, never say never, you know?
That's what makes the all-time greats. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah. Love that. Okay. So tell me, what's your all-time best tennis memory? Davis Cup, Olympics, slams, if there's one event that holds close to you, what is that, Steve?
Yeah, there's so many like great tennis memories that I have. So many different ones, but I guess for just me personally, I would say I had this match at the US Open. It was a first round match in I think it was 16, if I'm not mistaken. I was a number 1 ranked American. I had just come off the Olympics. I, lost in the quarterfinals in a heartbreaking match to Murray. I won bronze in doubles with Jack. Just got to number 1 ranked American. Right, you're the best person in your country. All these things, and so that kind of brings it on a new pressure at the US Open. And
right.
I'm playing my first round match against Evgeny Donskoy, who was a Russian guy who I had just beat 2 or 3 weeks prior, like a drum. Just taking him to the woodshed. So I'm like, all right, I feel good, right. I'm on, we're on brand new grandstand court there. So they put me out there, night match Monday, and I go out there and pardon my French, but I shit the bed, right. I was shitting the bed so bad. I'm just getting whacked. I lost the first 2 sets, down 5-2 in the third. I'm serving love 40. And I'm like, I had all these hopes and all this stuff, it's just and it's kind of hard to see because you can see the crowd dissipating as each set goes by. Wow, this guy's not very good. How is he 20 in the world? All this stuff. And right. It's I'm in my head.
You got to block all that shit out, of course.
So
right.
I got out a hold barely at 5-2 love 40. I'm like, okay, look, we got one chance. No reason to hold back, yeah. Let's go for it. And I ended up playing a good game, broke, hold serve at 5-4, basically win a tiebreaker, third set tiebreaker, whatever it was. And I remember I looked to my box and I was and I just knew this match is over. I found my rhythm. He had a chance to kill me and he didn't. And I'm going to find a way to win this match. And it's one of those things where I was just proud of everything that the heart, the determination with how bad I was playing
yeah.
to then how I can turn it around and how the momentum shifted. It's just a fun memory to,
no, of course, man, for sure,
kind of look back on and know that I even draw on that experience now when it's not going well. It's look, you're 1 point away from going down, or you're 1 point away from turning this thing around. You got to give yourself every opportunity, and
yeah.
that's something that I feel I've done well in my career.
Yeah, I think something that Steve said that definitely means a lot is doesn't matter how you start, it matters how you finish. And for all my campers out there or listeners, even if you're not playing well, find a way, keep chipping away, but know that it does not depend on how you start, depends on how you finish. And I mean, if you're able to climb out of that, if you're able to climb out of that stuff, keep that in your memory bank. There's nothing more powerful to store in your memory bank than things like that when you're not playing well and you're able to find it and you're able to crawl back and climb back. So very powerful. Thanks for sharing that, Steve. Appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, that most important shot in any sport is that 6 inches in between the ears. If you think you can do it, you can do it. If you don't think you can do it, I guarantee you can't do it. It's one of those things where draw back on all those memories and you just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you know a guy by the name of Wes Knott?
Yes.
Wes,
yes.
Coached, was the assistant coach there at USC. So actually, long story short, so Wes played Davis Cup for the Philippines, was top 500 back in the day. Was just a little freaking grinder is what he was. Anyhow, he got a volunteer job to be the men's or to be the women's coach at University of Washington. And I was living in Central Washington at the time, this place called Lake Chelan. And there was a tennis club an hour south of me called called The Rack. Anyhow, Wes's parents had randomly moved to Wenatchee, and we ended up meeting Wes there in Wenatchee. One thing led to another. I actually ended up moving over to Seattle and living with Wes. So this was like 2016. I was a junior in high school, and I had really started taking tennis pretty seriously. I didn't wrestle that year. That was the only year in high school that I didn't wrestle. I did online schooling. I actually went to John Newcomb's Tennis Academy from like September through January. And then when I got back in January, there was this gentleman, Wes, that was playing at my club. And my dad smoothed him over, and basically Wes, I kid you not, he like treated me like a son. And I moved in with Wes and lived with him for like 2 or 3 months, and my game went a total 180 after 3 or 4 months with Wes. Anyhow, super cool dude. Worked for USC for I don't know how many years.
He was the women's assistant when we were there, so like we obviously were close, because we all you spend so much time around the women's team and whatnot. So. He's one of the greats. All the girls that were on the team speak very highly of him. And obviously we didn't work with him, but we know them quite well.
Yeah, and actually Wes tried to go he didn't try to go pro in pickle, but he started playing some pickle tournaments and wasn't too shabby. And then there was a gal on the USC team that he was pretty close with, and come to find out things didn't work out. I knew this other pro player, she ended up with him, and anyhow, Wes is a great guy and ended up leaving Southern Cal, got a job in Texas. Now he's coaching for a college there in Texas. But anyhow, Wes is a stud, man. Like me some Wes Knott. Steve, so do you play pickle?
I do. Yeah, it's
get into some pickle talk here.
Yeah, no, that's why we're on here. Nobody cares about my
Yes, they do.
They want to know the gossip. They want to know the good stuff. When these guys are going to start moving over, there's been a lot of talk,
Sammy.
A lot of confidence. There's a lot of confidence coming from the tennis world onto the pickle.
Top
circuit.
10,
So,
4 months.
I don't want to say he's wrong, but it's he's got all the skill set. He just has bad ankles.
Hey, tell my viewers and listeners here. So Sam obviously after the podcast with me got some attention, and there's been some people that have been DMing Sam, correct?
Yeah, there's been some pros that have been sliding in there trying to gauge his interest and gauge his overall activity in the world of pickle. And he's I think he's taken on the villain role so far.
Talking that talk.
He wants that. Look, he's a confident guy. He's I got a lot of faith in him. I've never doubted him in his tennis career. I'm not going to doubt him now.
Yeah, for sure.
He's excited. He's been practicing a lot. He's trying to get me out there. But unfortunately, I still have a different career to focus on at the moment. But I love to play pickleball. I really do. He plays for his really good buddy Wes Burrows, who who's now taking it not more seriously, but like on like a professional side of things. He's playing on the MLP. And so he kind of has got him in there. And like, I love to go play. Look, I'm an athlete. I love to compete, and I love to compete when it's not my sport. So to me, to go out there and to like learn a new craft, to like look like a moron sometimes because, I will walk out there with this guy who holds it like a paddle in his hand. Like
don't judge a book by its cover. I'm telling you what.
And then he's like out there beating me like a drum. I'm like, okay, like how do I, that's why I play sports. It's a chess game. Like you want to go out there and it's like, okay, it's me versus you today. Like what's going to work? What's not going to work? Like, how do I do this? Like, okay, this works. This doesn't work. So for me, that's fun. Like that's a lot of fun. So, we go out there and compete, like we have some fun and we laugh. And, for us, it's I love to do it. There's going to be a couple good guys. I think that if they wanted to take it seriously, could be very good.
Yeah. Noah Rubin.
But it'll be interesting to see like what happens.
Right. Noah Rubin. You know Noah Rubin?
Yeah. So he's actually here in Vegas with one of the guys, but so he's going to try it as well. I think it's a good move. It's something that it's just going to be different. Like I don't know how it's going to go. Nobody knows how it's going to go, obviously, but
right.
Obviously the sport translates somewhat. Obviously,
it's
a racket and ball sport, but it'll be interesting. I think maybe some of the tennis guys might have an inflated image of themselves when going out there. But I think some guys because there's certain skill set that won't translate well.
Of course, right. No, of course. Big serve, big forehand probably doesn't, right?
That aren't going to, like my serve and forehand, like not going to be great on the pickle course. So I have to do something else. Like I realize that, what makes me a great tennis player is not going to make me good on the pickleball course. So it's been, I've gone out there and I've tried to play like I would on a tennis court, and it's not gone well.
Right.
I get, you just kind of get dummied out there, and you're like, this isn't right.
Yeah.
Like this, but it's fun. We love it. So I'm excited to see what Sam does. I know he's got a lot of stuff in the works, and he's keeping it dark. He doesn't even tell me, and he tells me most things. So
yeah, it's funny.
I'm waiting to find out.
Sam is such a gem, man. So I gave Sam, and after the podcast here, I'm gonna get your address and send you a paddle and a hat and a bunch of merch and all that. But
I was gonna say, because I don't want to like this. You can take this out from the pod, but I got a Ben Johns paddle in the car.
Oh no,
I don't want that.
Okay,
I don't want that.
Good man. Good man.
And it was kind of a hand me down from Wes. So like, he's like, just take this one. Cause I would just show him. Like,
just take this one. Okay.
But I don't want that.
Right.
I'm a McGuffin guy.
Good man. But Sammy, so I gave Sammy one of my white trucker hats, and literally he wore it during the podcast. He wore it as we played. And then I've seen him in, I think, 2 other interviews, and then I saw him playing. The guy has not taken my hat off. I mean, just, what a good man.
He's got a lot of respect for Tyson.
Representing.
Baby. Look,
yeah, it's cool.
He's privately told me, look, he goes, he's got a lot of respect for maybe a couple guys on tour, and you're one of them. So it's one of those things where he's he's going to be pushing some needles. He wants to get in some guys' heads right now, and I think he's doing a good job of that.
Yeah. Want to let you know, brother, I appreciate you coming on. You're a complete stud. Wish you the best of luck in Vegas. Anytime you're in Coeur d'Alene, give me a call. Would love to spend some time together, drink some beers, play some pickle. You can kick my ass in tennis, whatever. But all my viewers and listeners should know that I actually watched a ton of Steve growing up. I mean, even though we're the same age, I watched him in college, and actually I played a lot like Steve. Sliced the backhand, cranked forehands, used the kick serve. But this interview meant a lot to me, and thanks for coming on, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Dude, man, fired up. I'm glad to make this happen.
So kick some ass in Vegas, all right?
Yeah, we'll do. You keep kicking ass out there.
Yeah, we'll do, man. Thanks, Steve.
And keep my boy Sammy in his place.
Yeah, keep that guy.
Everyone but you.
Keep that guy in line, huh? Keep him in line.
He's coming. He's coming for blood. I want you guys to battle. I'm rooting for you if you play him, but I'm gonna root for him when he plays everybody else.
Good, man. My name is Tyson McGuffin. This is the McGuffin Show. I'll see you guys in episode 52.